Good morning, students. Last class we have done with the integrated rate equations for zero order, first order reaction. We have also done with the pseudo first order reaction. So we have done how the rate of reaction depends upon the concentration of reactant. The first factor we have done. Now we are starting with the second factor, temperature dependence of the rate of reaction. We will just see how the rate of reaction depends upon temperature. Now it is seen that most of the chemical reactions, I'm not saying all, but most of the chemical reactions are accelerated on increasing the temperature. Most of the chemical reactions are accelerated on increasing the temperature. It is roughly estimated that for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature, the rate of reaction almost doubles. It is just a rough estimation. So whatever the rate of reaction is there at 25 degree, if I increase the temperature by 10 degree, that means it becomes 35 degree. Then rate of reaction will become double. So it is estimated that for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature, rate of reaction nearly doubles. To understand it, let us take an example. We consider the decomposition of N2O5 as an example. N2O5 decomposes to give NO2 plus O2. If I carry out the reaction at 25 degrees centigrade, that is the room temperature, it takes 5 hours to complete. We cannot say complete, I can say it takes 5 hours for the concentration to become half of the initial. Nearly, I can say the concentration becomes half in 5 hours. If I have taken 10 moles, then in 5 hours it will be reduced to 5 moles. But if I carry out the reaction at 50 degrees centigrade temperature, I am carrying out the reaction at 50 degrees centigrade temperature. The reaction takes 12 minutes for the concentration to become half. So you can see the increase in the rate of reaction. 5 hours and at 50 degrees centigrade, 12 minutes. Let us compare this also. If it is carried out at 0 degrees centigrade, it will take 10 days. So you can very well imagine the effect of temperature that it has on the rate of reaction. So for any concentration of N2O5 to become half, it takes 5 hours at 25 degrees centigrade, 12 minutes at 50 and 10 days at 0 degree centigrade. So thus we say that for every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature, the rate of reaction almost doubles. Although the temperature dependence of the rate of reaction was studied by the scientist Arrhenius, and to explain the temperature dependence, he gave the equation which is called as Arrhenius equation. So let us start. The dependence of rate of reaction on temperature was studied by Arrhenius, and he gave an equation which exactly tells us how the rate of reaction depends upon temperature. So Arrhenius equation we are doing. The dependence of rate of reaction on temperature is given by this reaction. by this equation. What is the equation? The equation relates the rate constant K. K is equal to A e to the power minus EA by RT. K is the rate constant. So I can just see how the rate constant varies with temperature. A is called as the Arrhenius constant or Arrhenius factor, or you can call it frequency factor, or you can call it pre-exponential factor. R is the universal gas constant. You know the gas constant in SI units has the value 8.314 joule per Kelvin. T is the temperature in Kelvin, and EA is the activation energy. To study this reaction, first I must know the meaning of this term activation energy, because we know what is R, what is T. This is a constant, K is a rate constant, so I need to know what is EA, the activation energy. Let us start with activation energy. Arrhenius carried out a simple reaction. Activation energy was explained by Arrhenius. He carried out the simple reaction. H2 plus I2 gives 2HI. But when this reaction was done, H2 collides with I2 and an intermediate is formed, a very unstable intermediate which remains for a very small time period. Just see what has happened. H starts forming bond with I, H starts forming bond with I, and this HH and II bond starts breaking. This is the unstable intermediate which is formed. For a very short time, it cannot be isolated. And finally, the bond between HH and II breaks, and this bond, which is above and down, it is formed, HI plus HI. The energy which is required to form this unstable intermediate, also called as the activated complex, is called activation energy. Arrhenius studied the activation energy by plotting a graph between potential energy and reaction coordinate. He plotted the graph between potential energy and reaction coordinate. Reaction coordinate represents the profile of energy change. Again, I am repeating, reaction coordinate represents profile of energy change taking place when reactant is converted into product. When reactant is converted to product. Now let us see potential energy, and this is the reaction coordinate. This is the potential energy of the reactant H2 and I2. Now they combine and form the intermediate, and this is the energy of the intermediate. And when the intermediate breaks down, energy is released. How much energy is released? That depends upon the nature of reactant and product. But when it breaks down, energy is released. And this is HI, the energy of HI. Now this energy which is required to form the intermediate is called as the activation energy E. So we can say the energy required by the reactants over and above their average potential energy to form an intermediate, which is also given the name activated complex, is called activation energy. This is the average potential energy of the reactants, and this much more energy from here to here it needs to form the product. This extra energy is called as the activation energy. And in this graph, if I consider the total energy which is required to form the intermediate, this is total, starting from 0 till this. The total energy is called as the threshold energy. It is called as the threshold energy. And therefore I can say, what is threshold energy? Threshold energy is equal to average potential energy. I can just write it here. Threshold energy is equal to average potential energy of reactants plus the activation energy EA. The total energy which is required to form the intermediate by the reactant is called threshold energy. But out of the total energy required to form the intermediate, some is already possessed by the reactants. This much is already present with the reactants, and the extra which is required, that is called as the activation energy E. So this we have understood with the meaning activation energy. Now to find out how the activation energy for a particular reaction, how it depends upon temperature, a study was done by the scientists Boltzmann and Maxwell. So let us see the study done by Maxwell and Boltzmann. This we have done what is activation energy. So it is a part of this only. So we are doing Maxwell, Boltzmann, distribution of kinetic energy. Now what do we mean by Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution of kinetic energy? Now if I consider a container filled with the gas, filled with the reactant, gaseous reactant A, then the reaction will take place when the A molecules collide with each other. When the molecules of the reactant collide with each other, then only the reaction will take place. Now all the molecules which are present in this container do not possess the same kinetic energy, because when molecules collide with each other, they exchange their energy. So all the molecules do not have the same kinetic energy. But we cannot study the kinetic energy of all the individual reactant molecules, of each molecule. It is not possible. So Maxwell and Boltzmann applied statistics and studied the distribution of kinetic energy. Again I am repeating, it is not possible to determine the kinetic energy of each and every molecule. So they applied statistics and determined the kinetic energy of the fraction of molecules. And they plotted a graph between fraction of molecules possessing particular kinetic energy to kinetic energy. Now pay attention to this. I consider there are many molecules present in it. And I say out of the total molecules whatever are present, 1/10 of the molecules have kinetic energy equal to 25 kilojoules per mole. Right? It had got the kinetic energy 25 kilojoules. Suppose. Then I say 1/20th of the molecules have got the kinetic energy 15 kilojoules. Then I say 1/30th of the molecules have the kinetic energy of 35 kilojoules and so on. Now I find the fraction of molecules which possess a particular kinetic energy. This fraction of molecules, how we write? Number of molecules possessing a particular kinetic energy upon total number of molecules. How we find out the fraction? Suppose a class of 100 students is there, and out of 100 students, 10 students have got above 90%. So what is the fraction of students getting above 90%? You take the number of students getting above 90%, 10 upon total number of students. That's what I am doing it here. How we calculate the fraction? Number of molecules possessing a particular kinetic energy upon total number of molecules. So I say, suppose out of 100, the number of molecules that possess 25 kilojoules of kinetic energy is 10. So 10 by 100 is 1 by 10. So that means 1/10 of the molecules possess a kinetic energy of 25 kilojoules. So what is Ne upon Nt? It is equal to number of molecules possessing particular kinetic energy upon total number of molecules. Now they plotted the graph between this fraction of molecules and the kinetic energy. Fraction of molecules possessing a particular kinetic energy with kinetic energy. So let us make the graph for that. On the y-axis, I take fraction of molecules possessing a particular kinetic energy. And here on the x-axis, we plot kinetic energy. Now I will take it as an example. I will take example from your class. I will compare it with a class or a school. In a school, suppose the result of the board exam has come, right? And the number of students who appeared for the board exams were 1,000 students had appeared. Now, when I studied the result of the school, what I will find? If I tell you, find out the number of students who got above 95%. Can you tell me the number of students who get above 95% will be very large or very small? Yes, very small. So I found that above 95%, 20 students got. So what is the fraction of the students who have got above 95%? 20 upon 1000. That is 1 by 50. Now I ask you the fraction of students which have got between 90 to 95. So I just in general we consider number of students who get above 95% are the least, but who get between 90 to 95 maybe more. Suppose 40 students get, then what is the fraction? More fraction of students is getting this, so it is 2 by 7. So it is 1 by 25. If I ask you what is the fraction of students who are failing, you will say the number of students who are failing are also very less. The number of students who fail, suppose are 10. To 10 upon 1000 and so on. We can put the percentage in order 95 to 100, 90 to 95, 85 to 90 and so on. And we can find the fraction of students getting this. And we know that fraction of students who are failing is very less, fraction of students who are getting very high is very less. Most of the students, maximum fraction of the students will get intermediate marks, nor very low nor very high. And we expect that most of the students will get between 70 to 80% marks. Same thing happens here. The number of molecules which possess very low kinetic energy are very less. The number of molecules which possess very high kinetic energy, they are also very less. Most of the molecules have got intermediate kinetic energy. So when I plot a graph, I get a graph like this. You can see the fraction of molecules which are failing or have got very low kinetic energy are very less. You can see kinetic energy is 0, the fraction of molecule is also 0. If kinetic energy is, I just put the hypothetical values. They are in kilojoules. Suppose, so you can see the fraction of molecules which have got very low kinetic energy is very low. The fraction of molecules which have got very high kinetic energy is also very low. The maximum fraction of molecules have got this kinetic energy, and this is called as the most probable kinetic energy, because maximum fraction of the students, see the fraction of students which possess this kinetic energy, it is maximum. So this is called as the most probable kinetic energy. So this is the graph plotted by Maxwell and Boltzmann, showing the distribution of kinetic energy. Now suppose the graph which I have plotted, this graph has been plotted at temperature T. This graph, suppose I have plotted at a temperature 25 degree centigrade. T is 25. Now suppose I heat this container and the temperature becomes 35 degree. So I have increased the temperature by 10 degree. When I heat it, all the molecules will gain energy. So I expect that their kinetic energy will increase. So if I make a graph at T plus 10 degrees centigrade, that means अगर T 25 है, then I am making a graph at 35 degree. If T is 20 degree, I am making at 30 degree. The graph obtained will be like this. The graph will shift here. Now more number of molecules will possess the higher energy. It will shift like this. This is the graph obtained at T plus 10 degrees centigrade. This is the graph at T plus 10 degrees centigrade. And this is T degrees centigrade. This graph is at T. Now in this graph, if I plot EA, the activation energy which is required for this reaction which is taking place. So if I plot activation energy and suppose this is the activation energy, this is EA I have plotted. Now you can see that all those molecules which possess energy equal to or greater than kinetic energy, all those molecules which possess energy greater than or equal to activation energy will form the intermediate. To form the intermediate you require EA. So all these molecules which have energy equal to or greater than activation energy will form the intermediate and will form the product at temperature T. But if temperature is increased to T plus 10 degree, these molecules will also possess the energy equal to or greater than activation energy. That means the number of molecules which possess energy equal to or greater than activation energy have doubled. The number at T plus 10 degrees centigrade temperature, the number of molecules that possess energy equal to or greater than EA doubles. So now all these molecules, these will be able to form the intermediate, they will also form the intermediate. So they have doubled. So rate of reaction will also double. We had started with this concept that with every 10 degrees centigrade rise in temperature, the rate of reaction doubles. Why it doubles? Because number of molecules which possess energy equal to or greater than activation energy doubles. You can see the area, it has doubled. So, rate of reaction also doubles. So, this was a concept explained by Maxwell and Boltzmann. Remaining part of the Arrhenius equation we will be doing in the next session. Thank you.